Every year, thousands of nighttime drivers report seeing something on the road that investigators can't explain. Figures, lights, people who were never found, and locations that officially don't exist. Most of those reports come in between 2 hours and Cuero has Dam, the hours when your brain is least reliable and your fear is most honest. Night drives are strange like that. They can feel peaceful, almost cinematic, until they don't. The same empty road that feels calming at 9 p.m. can feel hostile at 2 a.m. The same stretch of highway can feel like it's watching you back. Tonight, I'm taking you through the scariest night drive routes and the stories connected to them. The kind that stay with drivers long after they reach home. There's a special kind of fear that only shows up when you're driving at night. It's not loud. It's not sudden. It grows quietly. The challenge isn't just the darkness. It's what your mind does inside it. Empty roads, no witnesses, no help nearby, just you, your headlights, and whatever might be waiting beyond their reach. The stories you're about to hear come from drivers who thought they were just taking a normal late-night route until something made them question what was real. I've been collecting these accounts for years. Patterns repeat. Isolated highways, cars that stall at the same mile marker, figures that appear only in rearview mirrors, drivers who arrive home with missing time and no memory of long stretches of road. One trucker logged a 40-minute gap on a straight route with no turns. His GPS showed he never stopped, yet he remembers standing outside the vehicle hearing someone call his name from the trees. Another driver swore a sedan followed her for 70 miles without ever passing, changing lanes or falling back, always the same distance behind. When she finally pulled into a lit gas station and looked again, the road behind her was empty. Security cameras confirmed no car entered the lot after her. No headlights, no second vehicle. Then there are the passengers, night drivers who report seeing someone sitting in the back seat, only visible when they don't look directly, reflections only, mirror only, never when turning around. Enough separate reports exist that Highway Patrol in more than one region quietly logs them as psychological stress responses. But they still log them. The most chilling case I found came from a mountain route known for fog banks that roll in without warning. A driver recorded audio during his trip to stay awake. At mile marker 18, he starts talking to someone, answering questions, laughing nervously. There was no one else in the car. The passenger seat was empty when he arrived. He has no memory of the conversation. The voice asking questions never appears on the recording, only his replies. If you think these are just stories, listen to this one. A man driving home after a late shift saw a person standing on the shoulder, perfectly still, facing the road. No hazard lights, no broken car, just standing. The driver slowed, thinking the person needed help. As he approached, the figure stepped backward, not turned, stepped and disappeared into the darkness like a light switching off. 3 other drivers reported the same figure within the same hour. Same clothing description, same location, no missing persons filed. No camera footage captured anyone there. These roads don't just scare people. They change how people drive them forever. By now you've probably felt it too. That memory of a late drive where something felt off for no clear reason. That's the common thread. Not monsters, not ghosts, just the overwhelming sense that you were not alone. Even when logic says you were, night roads remove distractions. And when distractions disappear, your mind starts filling the silence. Sometimes with imagination, sometimes with something else. If these stories sound unsettling, the next one is worse, because it was documented, time-stamped, and investigated, and still never explained. Before we continue, tell me in the comments if you've ever felt watched while driving at night. And after this, watch the next episode, where we cover urban legend routes. Drivers now refuse to take after midnight. The investigation file labeled it as driver fatigue with auditory hallucination. That was the official conclusion. Clean, clinical, easy to file away. But when you listen to the full recording, it doesn't feel clean at all. The driver, his name was Mark, had been on the road for 3 hours. Straight highway, minimal traffic. His dash recorder captured both video and cabin audio. At first, everything is normal. Engine noise, turn signal clicks, him talking to himself to stay awake. Then he says very clearly, "I know, I see it." There is nothing visible ahead of him on the road. He keeps driving. A few seconds later, he says, "You're not supposed to be this far from the exit." His tone changes, like he's responding to someone correcting him. There's no second voice on the recording, only silence between his replies. When investigators reviewed the GPS log, his car slowed from 62 miles per hour to 18 without braking hard. A gradual reduction, like he was matching someone walking in front of the vehicle, but the dash cam shows empty road. He arrives home 40 minutes late. He remembers only 10 of those minutes. I didn't believe that case when I first read it. Not fully. It sounded like exhaustion. The brain misfiring. That happens until my own night drive. I wasn't hunting for haunted roads. I wasn't chasing legends. I was just trying to get home faster by taking a mountain connector route locals use after dark. It was supposed to save me 20 minutes. At first, it felt like a good decision. The road was empty, smooth, no traffic lights, just long curves and tall trees pressed close to the shoulder. My headlights made a tunnel through the dark. Everything outside that beam didn't exist. I remember thinking how quiet it felt. Not peaceful quiet, muted quiet, like sound itself was being absorbed. My radio signal started fading about 10 minutes in. That happens in mountain areas, so I switched to downloaded audio. A podcast. Human voices help on night drives. They keep your thoughts from getting too loud, but the volume kept feeling wrong. Too loud one moment, too soft the next. I checked the dial twice. It never moved. Then I noticed something else. No reflective markers. Highways always have reflectors. Lane dots, edge posts, sign glints. This road had almost none. My headlights just hit flat asphalt and tree bark. No shine, no feedback. It made depth hard to judge. I slowed down. That's when I saw the first car. It was ahead of me, maybe half a mile. No taillights, just a dark shape moving slightly slower than I was. I assumed their rear lights were broken. It happens. I didn't try to pass. The road was too narrow, but the distance never changed. 5 minutes passed. Still the same gap. No brake taps, no turns, no variation. Just a silhouette car gliding in the center of the lane. I checked my speed. It was fluctuating, slowly drifting up and down. Even though my foot pressure stayed steady, I corrected it twice. The gap still didn't change. That's when I got the feeling. The one night drivers don't like to admit. The feeling that the road is staged, like a set, like something is being shown to you instead of happening naturally. I laughed it off, out loud, just to break the tension. My voice sounded small inside the car. A few minutes later, I reached for my phone to check the route time. No signal. Expected. But the map, the offline map, showed my car icon not on a road, but floating slightly beside it, drifting in the trees, then snapping back, then drifting again. GPS bounce happens, I told myself. Still normal, still explainable. Then the car ahead of me vanished, not turned, not accelerated away. Vanished between one blink and the next. Empty road. No side roads, no driveways, no exits. I slowed almost to a stop. My headlights showed bare pavement. I checked my mirrors. Nothing behind me either. And that was worse, because I suddenly realized I hadn't seen a single car pass in the opposite direction since entering the route. Not one. No oncoming headlights. No distant glow. Nothing. I kept driving, slowly, carefully. The podcast in my car continued playing, but I wasn't listening anymore. My attention was on the tree line. It felt too close, like it leaned inward when I wasn't looking directly at it. Then I heard the sound, a soft double tap from the back seat. Not loud, not aggressive, just tap, tap. I froze without meaning to. My foot eased off the accelerator. I told myself it was cargo shifting, seat leather contracting, plastic cooling. Normal sounds become strange at night. I did not look back. There's a rule drivers learn without being taught. If you're alone at night and you hear something behind you, you keep your eyes forward. I drove another mile. Then it happened again. Tap, tap. Same spacing, same softness. Too patterned to be random. My mouth went dry. I turned the podcast volume up. The voices sounded farther away instead of louder. My rearview mirror suddenly felt important, heavy, like it was waiting to be used. I adjusted it slightly. The back seat looked empty, but it felt occupied. There's no logical way to explain how you can feel a presence in a space you can see is empty. But you can. Drivers know this. Night workers know this. People who've stayed alone in silent places know this. I told myself not to be dramatic. Then my fuel gauge dropped from half to near empty in under 10 seconds. I actually said no out loud, because fear makes you talk like that, like the car can hear you. I blinked. The gauge returned to half. Electrical glitch. Had to be. The road curved left, and I saw brake lights ahead. The same silhouette car. Same distance as before. My hands went cold on the wheel. I checked the time. 20 minutes had passed since I last looked. It felt like 5. I don't remember the next stretch clearly. Only fragments. The sense that my headlights weren't reaching as far anymore. The sense that the trees were closer to the pavement. The sense that if I stopped, something would approach the car from the dark. Calmly, patiently. When the exit sign finally appeared, I almost missed it because I was afraid to look away from the road center. I took it. The moment I turned, radio signal returned, full bars. Music snapped loud and clear. My navigation recalculated and added 43 minutes to my arrival time, as if I had just entered the mountain route instead of leaving it. I checked the trip timer. It said I'd been on that road for 1 hour and 12 minutes. It should have been 20. I never took that connector again. And here's the part that stayed with me. 2 weeks later, I searched the route online. Multiple forum posts. Same description. Same phantom lead car. Same backseat tapping. Same missing time. No official report classifies it as dangerous. No closure. Just drivers who stopped using it quietly, without trying to prove anything, which is how the most persistent night drive fears survive. Not through headlines, through avoidance. If you drive long enough after midnight, you learn something nobody tells you in driving school. The road is not always just a road. Sometimes it feels like a test, and sometimes it feels like you already failed it. There's another pattern that shows up in night drive reports, one that almost never makes it into official summaries. Not because it's rare, but because it sounds too small to matter. It starts with a mistake, a turn taken too early, an exit missed, a detour chosen without thinking. Most drivers say the same sentence when they describe it later. I don't know why I went that way. One of the accounts that stuck with me came from a delivery driver who worked late, medical routes between cities. He was disciplined, scheduled, the kind of person who doesn't improvise directions. Except one night, he did. He said he felt a sudden certainty that the highway ahead was closed. No sign said so, no alert, just a strong internal warning, so he took a rural bypass he'd never used. He recorded voice notes during his routes to track delivery times. Those notes were later reviewed. At minute 14 of the bypass, his breathing changes. At minute 16, he stops talking. At minute 21, he whispers, "I shouldn't be here." When asked later what he saw, he couldn't describe it clearly, only impressions. Too many mailboxes with no houses, porches with lights on but no buildings behind them, driveways that went into tree walls and didn't come out the other side. He turned around 3 times and kept reaching the same bend in the road, same broken guardrail, same tilted warning sign, same dead deer at the shoulder. He took photos, none of them saved correctly, every image file corrupted. He reached the highway eventually. According to the timestamp, he had been off route for 9 minutes. According to his fuel usage, it was closer to 40. Night driving doesn't just stretch distance, it stretches perception. I learned that on my second deliberate night route, the one I took after collecting enough stories that curiosity started outweighing comfort. It was a desert road this time, flat, straight, long, enough that your headlights feel like they're chasing nothing. I started just after 1:30 a.m. No music, no podcast, just engine noise and tires. I wanted to hear everything. Silence on a night road is never total. There's always vibration, airflow, mechanical hum, but after a while, those sounds blend into a single layer, and your brain starts searching for patterns inside it. That's when you begin hearing things that may or may not be there. Around mile marker 52, I noticed a light behind me. far back. One headlight, not two. Motorcycle, I assumed. It stayed at the same distance for several minutes. No lane drift, no speed change, just one steady light. I checked my mirror again after a curve. Gone. No turnoffs nearby. No elevation dips deep enough to hide a headlamp. Flat desert. Clear air. I kept driving. Then my dashboard temperature reading dropped by 12 degrees in less than a minute. Desert's cool at night, but not that fast. My side windows showed faint fogging at the edges. I turned the defroster on. The air coming through the vents felt colder than outside air should feel. Not refreshing cold. Storage room cold. Unused space cold. I rolled my shoulders to shake it off. And that's when I saw the pedestrian sign. Yellow warning sign. Walking figure icon. In the middle of nowhere. No crosswalk. No structures. No path leading to the road. I actually smiled. Tension relief. Because it felt like proof of normal bureaucracy. Random, misplaced signage. 30 seconds later, I passed another one. Same sign, same scratch mark across the corner. Identical. I checked the rearview mirror. No sign behind me. Just road. I drove faster than I planned after that. Fear changes your relationship with speed. You don't speed to arrive sooner. You speed to exit a feeling. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. No signal area, so that shouldn't happen. The screen showed an incoming call with no number. Just a blank caller field. I didn't answer. It kept ringing longer than standard cycles allow. Stopped. Immediately rang again. Same blank ID. I muted it. Placed it face down. The car's Bluetooth display, which should show caller info, instead showed a phrase. Backseat connection active. I don't have rear Bluetooth pairing. I never set one. The message stayed for about 5 seconds, then disappeared. I did not look back. Not once. You make rules for yourself on night roads. Small survival rituals. One of them is this. If something suggests you should look behind you, don't. A mile later, I passed a parked car on the shoulder. Driver door open. Interior light off. No hazard flashers. No person visible. As I passed, my radio, which had been off, burst into static at full volume. Not gradual, instant. Loud enough that I flinched and swerved slightly. Inside the static was rhythm, almost like breathing through a microphone. I shut the radio off again. My hands were shaking now. I remember thinking, very calmly, that fear feels physical before it feels emotional. Your body knows first. 2 miles later, city glow appeared on the horizon. Relief came too fast, like pressure dropping, and with it came doubt. Because when fear lifts suddenly, embarrassment tries to replace it. You tell yourself you exaggerated, you misread, you projected. That's the mind protecting its sense of control. But the drive log later showed something I couldn't explain away. There was a 3-minute segment where my speed read 0, engine on, gear in drive, RPM steady, 0 movement. I have no memory of stopping, none. No visual recall, no sensation of pause, just absence. Night drives don't always give you terror. Sometimes they give you gaps, and gaps are worse because your imagination fills them with something more efficient than any monster, something personal, something tailored to your fears. Which brings me to the story most drivers refuse to finish when they start telling it, because the ending changes depending on who hears it. And once you hear it, you start noticing the same details on your own night routes, the same sequence, the same markers, the same mistake. It's called the last exit story. And if you've ever driven past your correct exit at night and felt strangely calm about it, you've already taken the first step into it. The last exit story doesn't begin with fear. It begins with comfort. That's why people fall into it. It usually happens near the end of a long night drive, when you're close enough to home that your guard drops, muscles loosen, attention softens. You start thinking about your bed, your door, the familiar sound your keys make when you set them down. You miss your exit, not dramatically, not with panic. Just, you notice the sign pass overhead and think, I'll take the next one. Drivers who report this all say the same thing. The next exit always appears unusually fast, closer than it should be, easier than expected. You take it. The ramp is empty. No other cars, no debris, no construction cones, just smooth pavement and working lights. It feels strangely well maintained compared to the highway you left. Your GPS recalculates, but the arrival time doesn't change. That's the first detail people remember later. Distance added, time unchanged. The road at the bottom of the ramp looks familiar, almost like your own town, but simplified. Fewer signs, fewer buildings, wide intersections with no cross traffic. You don't feel lost. You feel guided. That's the word used most often. Guided. Street names look right at a glance. But if you try to reread them, you realize you're not fully processing the words. Your eyes slide off them, like trying to remember text from a dream. Traffic lights stay green longer than normal. You don't stop once. Houses have porch lights on, but no window lights inside. No silhouettes moving behind curtains. No televisions flickering. No parked cars in driveways. The town looks paused. Drivers say their radios behave strangely here. Stations exist, but contain only low-volume audio. Talk that sounds like it's coming from another room. If you focus, it fades. If you ignore it, it seems clearer. Phone signal shows full bars, but messages won't send. Calls connect, but no one speaks. Breathing is sometimes heard, soft, patient, never reacting to your voice. I spoke to one man who swore he completed the last exit route and reached his own apartment building. His key fit the lobby door. The hallway smelled right. The elevator arrived, but the floor indicator had no numbers, only blank squares, lighting up one by one as he rose. He stepped out onto a corridor that matched his length, color, carpet pattern. But all the doors had no handles, only flat surfaces where handles should be. He walked to where his unit should be. No door, just wall. He said the fear didn't spike. It drained in slowly, like warmth, leaving water. He went back to the elevator. The button panel had one button now. Basement. He pressed it. The doors closed. He remembers the downward motion lasting too long. Much too long. When the doors opened, he was parked in his car on the shoulder of the highway. Hazard lights blinking. 10 miles before the exit he originally missed. Engine running. Seat belt on. Dashboard clocked 47 minutes later than he expected. No memory of leaving the vehicle. Investigators marked it as a micro-sleep episode combined with dream intrusion. He sold the car 2 days later, said it no longer felt empty when he drove it at night. I almost dismissed the last exit story completely until 3 months ago. I missed an exit at 2:11 a.m. I remember the timestamp because I glanced at the dashboard right as the sign passed overhead. I felt calm about it, unusually calm. The next exit appeared quickly, too quickly. I took it. The ramp lights were bright white, not the warmer highway color. My tires sounded different on the pavement, softer, like the road surface was newer than anything nearby. My GPS didn't change arrival time. I noticed that, a small detail, but it landed heavy. The road at the bottom looked like my town, but reduced. Fewer parked cars, wider gaps between buildings, no movement at intersections. Every traffic light turned green before I reached it. Not once. Every time. I didn't stop. My radio produced low voices, layered, like multiple conversations behind a wall. I turned the volume knob. It controlled nothing. The sound stayed the same level. I told myself I was tired. That explanation works very well at night. It covers almost anything. Then I passed my street, or something shaped exactly like it. Same corner store, same bent stop sign, same tree with the split trunk. But there was no graffiti on the store's metal shutter, and there should have been. It's been there for years. My chest tightened, not panic. Recognition without confirmation. I kept driving instead of turning. I don't know why. 2 blocks later, I checked my rearview mirror. There was a car behind me now. Close. No headlights on. Just a dark outline, keeping perfect distance. My interior felt suddenly smaller, sound dampened again, like on that mountain road. My back seat felt occupied, weight without shape. I did not look. I focused on the next intersection. Green light, empty cross street. Buildings with lit porches and black windows. I whispered, without planning to. Not this exit. The word surprised me, because I hadn't known I was afraid until I heard them spoken. My navigation screen flickered. The map zoomed out, far out, until my car icon sat alone on gray space with no roads drawn. Then it snapped back. Normal map, normal streets. Graffiti back on the shutter when I glanced in the side mirror. Headlights appeared behind me, real ones, attached to a normal car. The radio returned to a music station mid-song. I pulled over and sat there breathing for a full minute. When I checked the clock, it was 2:58 a.m. I had no memory of the last 40 minutes of driving. The distance from the missed exit to where I stopped should take 6. I finished the drive home on the main highway. I didn't take another exit, not even mine. I drove 10 extra miles and doubled back in daylight streets. Since then, night driving feels different, not more dangerous, more aware. Like the road, sometimes offers alternatives, and you're not meant to accept them. If you drive late enough, long enough, often enough, you'll eventually feel it. A turn that feels invited, an exit that feels prepared, a route that feels ready for you specifically. Most of the time, you won't take it. If you do, you probably won't tell the story clearly afterward, because the clearer you try to make it, the less it behaves like a memory, and the more it behaves like something you visited. Tonight, If you're driving and you miss your exit and the next one looks unusually easy, you might want to stay on the highway a little longer, even if it costs you time, especially if it doesn't. Silence feels different on night roads once you know this. Not empty, waiting,